Welcome back after a momentary power outage.
Which the audience doesn't know about. So
Yeah, it didn't even happen.
go watch the blooper reel. I'm sure that's going to pop up somewhere.
If the power went out on a stream that you weren't watching, did the power ever go out?
I don't know.
All right, let's go to...
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Well, they say that for things that are really obvious, and then I heard another one for things that are obviously not the case. I think I once heard someone say, "Does the Pope sit in the woods?"
Well, the obvious answer to that question is depends on the type of bear.
No, the Pope.
Oh no, like my answer, the bear.
Oh,
the bear.
Never mind.
Moving on. Because not all.
Yes.
Just saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Not all of them.
Polar bears in captivity. That's true. Polar bears. There's no woods.
I'm sure. Anyway, yeah.
So we got. We're going to talk about indicators and patterns. So patterns, first of all, are these things where it actually identifies different things on the chart. I've never used any of these. They're not really helpful. They don't really give you anything that you can't see with your own eyes. So we could tell it to identify hammers and dojis and there's a shooting star. Yeah, shooting stars. And then we apply that. And then now our chart, there's going to be little notes like right here, little tiny dots on the dojis. They'll say oh, that's a doji. That's all it gives us is these little dots pointing out where these certain patterns appear. Honestly, it's nothing that you can't see with your own eyes. There's so many. You can always play with them, but I feel like these are on the whole gonna, with what we're talking about with a lot of these drawing tools, they're going to add a lot more confusion than they are clarity, but they exist. I'm going to just keep that brief.
Studies I'll be damned if I ever let AI take my job.
What?
I mean, I'm just saying, right? You get an AI, it identifies these patterns for you. Do it yourself. Do it yourself.
That is one thing, that trading is not something that AI will be. It might be able to do it, but it's not going to replace you, in that people will be able to always do this. Now, this is where we get to a psychotic number of strategy-based indicators. So we'll add a few of those. These are always going to appear at the bottom. So I'll do ADX trend. I don't know what that is, but it's going to appear on the chart actually. I have no idea what that is. Strong uptrend. That's clearly going down.
That's a strong uptrend. What else happened?
Moving and here, that's a strong downtrend. Right there. Also here, we're in the middle of a very strong uptrend. So what this should be called is a bunch of mathematicians that put a bunch of numbers together to compute a certain output that don't know what in the hell it's doing. There is one or two of these that I do actually quite like. With that said,
out of the whole list of studies and indicators that TD Ameritrade has spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on making, there are two.
Correct. With it. Yes. Although I don't even use it stock. I modify it. High-low activator. High-low activator. That's the first one.
They're punching the air in the office. No.
It's by default 3. I change it to 21. And for the buy stop, I'm going to make that red, and the sell stop, I'm going to make green. And then now we're going to have a 21 period high-low indicator, which I like to use because it's sort of like a moving average, but it's weighted. It just works really well. And when we get into options and the short to midterm option strategies I use, you're going to see how this indicator is actually, it's not that I use it to make decisions so much as it's a very good, it's a helpful tool for clarifying, like for having a deciding factor of like, am I going long or short? Like what factors am I going to use to make that decision? That's where it's very helpful. Second one is the MACD. Sorry. The
Why is it so?
I don't know. I was like, the MACD.
Do you know what MACD stands for?
I can mouse over it and it'll tell me.
It's moving average convergence divergence. Oh,
There you
knew
go.
it.
See,
Now people are
didn't
going to think I
need to know
cheated.
Then there's stochastic MACD. Let's see what a stochastic. I'm just curious.
That I don't have any clue.
Whack is what it is.
Yeah, get that off the screen. Get the regular one back in here. I like the regular one.
You prefer the regular one?
What is this? Just the regular one with lines instead
Maybe
of
they just got
bars?
rid of the color.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, maybe call me traditional, call me old fashioned. I like the original MACD.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Which it includes volume.
Another one that I find to be, I also find RSI to be a good one to look at.
That is true. RSI
although
is not a bad. RSI represents overbought or oversold. I forgot about
Yeah.
that one. I forgot it
For those
exists. I
that
actually
don't know,
haven't used it.
RSI is the relative strength index. And so it will give a number from 0 to 100 for a stock in a current
Look at
position.
how long their explanation is.
Yeah, I'll let that one do it. What am I? Just an engineer?
No, your
Yeah, I'm not.
explanation was actually quite good.
Yeah, I could keep going, but oh, sure, I'll just keep going. So it gives a number from 0 to 100 to represent if a, well, 0 would represent overbought, and then 100 represents oversold. But typically it won't get all the way that far.
No, it's the other way around.
Other way around. Sorry. The higher the
Yes.
RSI, overbought, the lower the RSI, oversold. People generally will look at 30 and 70 as being your hot points. So if the RSI is at 30, you're considering the stock to be oversold.
Yeah, 30 or lower, or 70 or higher, basically greater than.
Exactly.
Those numbers.
Exactly.
Now these are also helpful tools, I would say, as far as kind of helping to get an idea of where things are relatively. But then if you compare that with just using actual price levels and support and resistance, it's like maybe. I mean, RSI is good. Like that can be quite useful at times. I'm actually forgetting how useful it has been in some instances for me. Anyway, so we can play around with a few more of these if you'd like to stick around. If you'd like to move on to the next module, of course, you're welcome to. Let's see what else they have. Oh, there was one that it was written by a friend.
He's gonna dox himself.
I'm going to dox myself.
Oh Lord.
This is something you can do with ThinkorSwim. Welcome to the boundless admin page. It's very boring. We have a here, I think.
No, it's right there. So right at the bottom, I think.
Oh yeah.
Implied volatility gauge ThinkorSwim code.
Okay, yeah. So now I need to just go to yeah. That took me a second. I'm just going to copy and paste this text. This is something you can do with ThinkorSwim. This is going to be available to you guys in the options course. Unless you want to go line by line off of what I just copied and write it down yourself. So
If you're
here,
watching this video, you have it available to you. Go copy and paste.
there, I just hit create, paste that code, and then now I messed up.
Well, you might need to move it from lower into
All right, I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of this too. And just paste this here. There we go. There we go. You got to get rid of that little line it has at the beginning. This is something that was given to me by a friend who actually wrote this. That is an options implied volatility gauge to help you determine whether options are overpriced or underpriced, relatively speaking, with respect to implied volatility. I'll do another video about this specifically because I'll need to do a little bit of a refresher. I haven't used this in a while myself, but it is actually a very interesting tool that we offer to you free of charge. Well, you have to pay to get it, but it's free once you pay.
Have you ever heard of a circular definition?
It's free once you've paid, yeah. So we have
I know that's not.
I don't know why that was so funny. That time of night when everything gets funny.
Well, you know what they say, Rosser, you can buy better, but you can't find cheaper.
What does that even mean? So here we can see that options prices are deflated relatively. They're not, whereas in yellow would mean normal, and in the green would mean that the prices are inflated. I'll do another video about this, but this, generally speaking, means that like when they're deflated, it would mean that you want to be a buyer. Let's see about TSOA. Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I think that is enough for one day. I've got a good couple of hours of content here recorded and went into a lot of depth, talking about indicators, talking about charts, talking about setting up your charts, your platform, all that good stuff. So with that, I will go to bed now. It is almost 1 o'clock in the morning, but thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay.